Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Sunday edition. This is Gashi Skyman. We may ask ourselves, Muturi is a thorn in William Samoei Ruto's government, and he is firing from all fronts. He is not sparing William Samoei Ruto. He is telling them there is no need of having cabinet meetings to talk about the economy when he is abducting, when Kenyans are dying. There is no need of even talking about DRC when we have youth being abducted in this country. In fact, if you look at what Muturi is saying, he is a thorn in William Samoei Ruto's government. But the big question is, why is the president not sacking him? What is the fear? What are the considerations here? What is stopping? Because you see, a CS holds office at the mercy of the president because he's the appointing authority. With just a stroke of a pen, Muturi can be fired, but it is not happening. That is the question I want us to discuss this morning. The number one reason why Muturi is not being fired is because of the country's debts and loans that have been taken by William Samoei Ruto. Some of these debts, some of these loans can be questions, can raise many questions, and these questions can actually give William Samoei Ruto a headache, because I know if we have been following what many people have been saying about our debts, there are some debts that have been taken and the way they have been utilized, and the agreement there are shrouded in mystery and secrets. And this is one of the major reasons, because you see, if this man is fired, he's not going to spare anything. Because when you look at him, when he is in the cabinet, he is still held by a collective cabinet responsibility. But Muturi is not actually being held, being tied by this kind of arrangement. Number two, in my view, is because of Kithure Kindiki. You know, William Samoei Ruto hopes to divide Mount Kenya into Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West. And he hopes that Mount Kenya East, which consists of Tharaka Nithi, Embu, and Meru, is going to follow Kithure Kindiki. And now, firing Muturi would be very, very disadvantage. It would actually disadvantage Kithure Kindiki. And he might come out as somebody who has no influence in the Mount Kenya East. So that mission of dividing Mount Kenya may fail, because Muturi is likely to overshadow Kithure Kindiki. But when he's in government, Kithure Kindiki is seen as the man of the Mount Kenya East, the man who is controlling the kingpin of Mount Kenya East. Number three, in my view, they're waiting for Gashagua's bombshell. It is expected today, though not yet confirmed, but it is expected that Rigathi Gachagua is going to have a press conference. It is also expected that he's going to invite media, all the mainstream media, in his Karen home. You know, he has a home in Karen. And the expectation here is that he's going to announce the party. And this might surprise people, because Muturi could be one of the officials. Because if you look at what Muturi is saying and what Gachagua is saying, in fact, they are talking about the same thing. The message is the same. So there's a feeling in the government that these two are working together and they are likely to have a party. So they want Muturi to leave the government on his own volition, voluntarily, that is, without being fired. And this is what is actually tying William Samoei Ruto's hand. The other issue is about the tie between Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and JB Muturi. These two leaders have been friends for many years, even when they were in Kano, and even when everybody left Kano. Uhuru and JB Muturi were there, even when he was a magistrate. They were close friends. So this one, because you see, anybody who is associated with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is likely to be very, very popular. I think this one is something that they are considering. Because I also believe that Uhuru, Muturi, and Gachagua are actually working together. So this fear is something that is real. There is also the fear of making Gachagua a monster, a political monster. They are fearing that they might create a political monster, just like they did to Rigathi Gachagua. Today, if you ask William Samoei Ruto whether that was the best decision of firing Rigathi Gachagua, I think he hold a different opinion compared to that time. If you ask those who are in government whether William Samoei Ruto was given proper advice about impeaching Rigathi Gachagua, many people would say, no, that was the wrong advice. Today, if you ask William Samoei Ruto what he regrets most of all the decisions that he has made so far, it is impeaching Rigathi Gachagua, because Rigathi Gachagua bolted out with Mount Kenya region. And now what is happening here, that monster, if it unites with Gachagua, then you can imagine the kind of backlash that William Samoei Ruto is likely to receive in Mount Kenya region. So there is that fear of the whole of Mount Kenya region. The remnants, still there are some remnants in Mount Kenya who still believe that Rigathi Gachagua it does not actually fit the bill of being the Mount Kenya kingpin. There are also those who are sympathizing with William Samoei Ruto, and they're just pockets. Now, if Muturi is fired, this small number is also likely to bolt out and go with JB Muturi, because every leader has some followers who will always follow him, whatever the case, whatever direction he tells them to go, they are likely to follow him. So even Muturi has his followers. The other reason, if you ask me, is that when you look at Gachagua and then you look at Kithure Kindiki, you realize that if this man is fired, now the general resistance, the general opposition towards the government will actually be quadrupled. What I mean here is that firing Rigathi Gachagua and firing JB Muturi will only increase and embolden and arm the opposition, and it ni kama kujitafuna yeye mwenyewe, ni kujitia kitanzi. But all said and done, William Samoei Ruto has all the powers. I'm not saying that Muturi cannot be fired. He can be fired, because William Samoei Ruto can decide to fire him even today. And what is stopping him is the issue that we are discussing here. So, ladies and gentlemen, this issue is, that's just my opinion. I don't know what you think. From my end, I think I've exhausted everything. Let me see what you think about the same. Have a blessed Sunday. Bye-bye.